Hi, my name is Ali, and
I'm Chris.
welcome to our channel, All About Coffee. And so we're creating this YouTube channel. Hopefully you guys will be interested, like and subscribe. We will be just exploring. We do coffee crawls together, and we talk a lot about specialty coffees and what's new, what's coming out, what's out there. And Chris has a lot more experience. He's more of the expert than I am, but I've been on this journey for
You can just say coffee snob.
coffee snob. I can say that.
Sure.
Chris is a coffee snob.
Yeah. Recovering.
A recovering,
Recovering coffee snob.
but expert sounds much better.
It does sound better.
There you
Thank
go.
you. Thank you, sir.
You got me off track.
Sorry about that. Keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, so we'll be doing coffee crawls and talking about specialty coffee. I kind of got started many years ago through Chris, trying different coffees, and he actually started making good coffee for me, and I could tell the difference between regular coffee, and it kind of got me on my journey. And I used to be very much a cream and sugar guy, and I went from just drinking coffee, and I don't even like to say black, because to me it's just like it still makes me think of like going for breakfast and getting the pour
The diner
coffee.
Yeah.
Whenever I think of black coffee. But so anyway, specialty coffee, we're not going to call it black coffee. We're just going to call it specialty coffee.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to get into the more of the definitions of specialty coffee, it's coffee that scores higher in the grade. And so there's a way of determining the score of a coffee based on cupping, where you're slurping the coffee, you're sniffing it, you're evaluating the taste, the aftertaste, the whole experience. And so then there is a way of grading that coffee. And if it gets to a certain score, it's considered specialty. And anything below specialty is considered commercial, and then it keeps on going down from there.
Yeah. So where in the process of coffee does it become a specialty or a downgraded coffee? Is it in the farming?
Oh, it's the whole thing, and there's so many factors. But yes, coffee can be, it can get a lower score based on the farming practices, based on the terroir, based on the elevation, based on the environment in which it was processed. Mm-hmm. It can also happen, it can be from mistakes, from the way the farmers took the coffee from the tree or shrub and processed it and prepared it for roasting. Sometimes people over roast it too, or under roast it. And all of these factors can affect how we score the coffee. Now, when we are actually scoring it officially, there is a roast profile that we are supposed to do. And so if we're hitting that roast profile, then we really are just evaluating that coffee based on its terroir and the farming and the processing that took place.
So can it become a non-specialty coffee before you cup it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It already, because it's innate, it's already, but in order to evaluate, in order to assess whether it's specialty or not, you do need to cup. Cupping is the way in which to assess whether it's a specialty or not.
Do some farms know that they're not going to produce? Like I know there's some places like Starbucks, they probably have their own farms that they choose from, and they probably have a technique that they use for their entire process of making that coffee.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually don't know. I've never been on a Starbucks run farm, but I do know one of the reasons why Starbucks roasts dark is to control their flavor. I mean, they're really good at their flavor profiles. I mean, you can have an Ethiopia Starbucks in China and in Indonesia and in the US, and it will all taste the same. I mean, predominantly,
Right.
And so That has to do with the way they blend. When it says Ethiopia, they're not getting it from just one place, my understanding. It could be a compilation, a blend of different places. And so I think Starbucks, the QC, the quality control in Starbucks is actually really high. They're pretty good cuppers in the way that they blend to maintain the same experience every time. But see, that's actually not how coffee works. That works when that's your goal, right? Mm. But I think in the specialty world, we want to experience this year's crop. We want to experience next year's crop. We want to see what farmers are doing, how they're processing the coffees, what kind of, washed, natural, any kind of anaerobic processing, if they're using special inoculants, yeasts, co-ferment, you know what I mean? Like there's so many different things that farmers can do that can affect the flavor. And then that also affects the way we score it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. One thing that's fun for me about specialty coffee is that there's so many little nuances to how the flavor can change even when you're doing a pour over cup. And the grind size can make a difference. Yep. The water temperature can make a difference.
Even the water quality can make a difference.
The water quality can make a difference. So one thing that makes it fun for me is trying to be, it's fun for me to be consistent and try and get a really good tasting coffee every time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's great. And yeah, even your grinder, if you're using an electric grinder, a burr grinder, even throughout the day, temperature changes, humidity, how much is in your hopper, how much beans are in your hopper, that affects the way your grinder performs. And so there actually is a need to continually calibrate. And there are these little micro adjustments that you need to do, even throughout the day.
Right.
So, but yeah, you're right. It's great.
Yep. And so I hope that the people that would watch our videos would want to have that same experience, that journey, that experience of just having a good cup of specialty coffee.
Yeah.
So that's primary reason for the channel.
Yeah.
And I think we're gonna have fun, like
Absolutely.
when we do coffee crawls.
Lots of fun.
Talking about the different coffee that we taste, and our primary goal is not to critique a coffee shop, but to critique, or not to maybe critique, but just kind of to profile the coffee, right? Yeah. And let you know like what you're experiencing and what you should be experiencing, or what we're experiencing when we try a cup of coffee.
Yeah. And I think also, another really important thing to say is we're not knocking commercial coffee, or if you like your coffee with lots of milk and sugar, there's no judgment, because we like to say in the producing world, origin is we say every coffee has a home. So there is the coffee that specialty producers throw away. And by throw away, we put it off to the side and we sell it to Nescafe, or we sell it to Starbucks, or we sell it to people that are going to dark roast it and for consistency. And you're not going to taste all those defects that you would if it was specialty. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But every coffee has a home. And so I remember when I was selling my coffee in Indonesia, I had someone tell me, could you just give me a coffee that tastes like coffee? I don't want the coffee that tastes like grapes and berries and chocolate. Can you just give me a coffee that tastes like coffee? And I immediately knew what they wanted. They actually wanted like a darker roast. They wanted something with the bitter forward. Some very chocolate, but bitter chocolate.
Yeah.
Hey, no problem. I can do that. And I think as owners of businesses that are in coffee, I think we should be humble to understand what customers want, and understand those pain points, and make sure that we are doing our best to meet the needs of the people around us. And so every coffee does have a home. I think what you're saying though is for the sake of this channel, and because this is becoming more and more, it's third wave, and even we're moving into fourth wave now, coffee. I think it's good that we stay current and relevant to what's happening in coffee right now. And so like the chocolate, purely just chocolate bitter. Okay, every coffee has a home, but that's not the home we're going to focus on. We're going to focus more on, where coffee's headed right now.
Right.
Yeah.
I think one thing I've learned is that when you brew a cup or make a cup like a pour over at home, consistency equals balance. And what coffee can do is coffee can give you sourness, it can give you bitterness, and it can give you acidity
And sweetness.
and sweetness. But then there's also the flavor notes within the coffee, right? Mm-hmm. So that could be fruity, it could be nutty, mm-hmm. it could be chocolatey, syrupy kind of. Mm-hmm. So I think when you get the balance right through consistency, that's when you get the right amount of acidity, and then you taste the notes that are within the cup of coffee.
Yeah, like to give you a point on that, when I was teaching, like I had a bunch of employees from Indonesia who I worked with, and I would taught them about cupping and special and sensory training. And one of the things that I told them is that sensory training doesn't start with coffee; it starts with mindfulness. And so the next time you eat a piece of fruit, what's happening in your mouth? What are you sensing? How sweet is it?
Yeah.
How sour is it? How bitter, or you know what I mean? What kind of balance is there? And I think most fruit actually does exactly what you're talking about. It has a nice balance, and if we like it, it shouldn't be too sour or too sweet. Or, I mean, can you ever be too sweet? I don't know. But you know what I mean? Like it should have a nice balance, and that's what makes it complex and interesting and enjoyable.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think through specialty coffee, I think people will find that if they go on this journey with this and begin to try these different types of specialty coffees, that they'll also enjoy coffee.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's possible, I think, to move away from, like, if you're adding a lot of sugar and cream to your coffee, it's not necessarily, it might taste good, but it may not be the healthiest way. Whereas without adding those things, I feel like when I drink a cup, it feels more refreshing, and it does feel like it doesn't feel as heavy,
Yeah, and you know what's interesting? I found that living in Indonesia, Indonesians had the same stereotype of specialty coffee that Americans do, and that is that coffee that's black and doesn't have milk and sugar is going to cause them to have acid reflux. It's gonna be hard on the stomach, and over time, I would expose people to specialty coffee, and it's light roasted, and we have the right temperature of water, we have the right ratio of water to coffee, the right grind size. Usually, they discover that it's actually not sour, it's not hard on the stomach, and they actually feel better than they would with the coffee that they normally drink. And the reason is because some of the coffees that people are drinking and they're exposed to have been sitting on a burner all day, like in a cafe, a diner, or they're using a lower quality coffee, and so there's actually a lot of defects inside of there, and those are actually affecting the acid experience that you have, and they're bad for your stomach. But I think when you do specialty, when you do it correctly, you actually don't have the same kind of health problems that you do with lower quality coffee.
Yeah. And I think too, like, sometimes those coffees, grocery store coffees and diner coffees.
No judgment.
No judgment.
Every coffee has a home, Allie.
Yeah. But they can be bitter, and there you go, like you want to like get away from that bitterness of coffee, and then you're adding those sugars, and sometimes you're like, oh, I can't add sugar. So then you're adding the sweeteners, which is a chemical in a sense where, it may not necessarily be the healthiest choice.
Yeah. Case in point, watch TV sometime and pay attention to how coffee is drunk, how coffee is prepared, how coffee is treated in the show that you're watching. More times than not, people are adding a lot of sugar. They're adding a lot of milk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And usually it's coming out of a drip. Every now and then you'll see someone doing a French press, like Dexter, I think, does French press on the show.
Yeah, yeah.
And I actually, Dexter does it okay. I've never seen him add milk and sugar to his. But usually you see people adding a lot of milk and sugar to their coffee. And it's like, there's just a stereotype that coffee needs those things. Yeah, they do when they're lower quality, but at specialty level, it should already be sweet. It should already have complexity. You don't need to cut that complexity with anything else,
Right,
especially
right.
milk and sugar.
I hope you liked our first discussion,
There you go.
and
Not to be the last, for sure.
exactly, and we'll be doing more. And again, like and subscribe. Recommend us to other people who you know who want to maybe dive into this world of specialty coffee. Thank you for joining us today.
All right. Bye for now.